Hello, I'm Ali.
And I'm her best friend, Em.
This is She Said, She Said.
Join us for our ritual Wednesday evening glass of wine as we talk about the highs and lows of life as two foreign ladies living in France.
Think of this as the group chat you actually want to be on, where we talk about all the plates we're spinning and occasionally dropping.
We'll also give you the best tips we've learned from over a decade living among the Frenchies.
C'est parti!
Hello? Are you there?
Hello!
Is anybody there?
I'm here! Where are you?
Are you alive?
I am, barely. No, it's a really good day.
Yeah?
It's Wednesday. We're here on a podcast. Wednesdays are off with the kids, so we usually spend our day between activities and some other fun time with our kids. How was your Wednesday, Em?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was a little stressful in a way because last weekend I did a big toy clear out. My kids' toys. I have two children who were both not at school, obviously, today on a Wednesday. And so I had to try and find the opportune moment to take them to charity. But obviously, the children didn't want to give up the toys, even though they were baby toys. So that was kind of a little stressful. In the end, we didn't take them to the charity shop. So I'll probably try and do that in a stealth way when they're not around.
I just keep I keep a different bag or container somewhere that I just hide and then sometimes get out when other people come around with younger kids.
That's a good idea. I mean, I already have that container. This is like their
Right.
room is full of toys. They're so
Okay.
like super spoiled.
Okay.
But my oldest was like, I just want to keep all my toys, even if they're broken. But even if they're baby toys, I just can't get rid of any of them.
Oh, bless him.
Okay. Well, then we're going to be hoarders for the rest of our lives. Great.
6 years and already nostalgic about his childhood years.
Yeah. What about you? Because I haven't spoken to you since your funky weekend.
Oh, we had a nice weekend. I feel like we had a very French vibey weekend. Do you have to say we were gone with a big group of friends. We were like 6 families. And out of these 6 families, 2 families had 3 kids. So yeah, we were 12 adults, 14 children.
Whoa.
Very much outnumbered. And to be honest, it was a very, very chill weekend. You wouldn't think so, but
Chill?
yeah, really. As in, like, the kids they stayed up so late that they slept until after 8 in the morning. Although they all like slept in crazy, sometimes when they sleep together with friends in a room, then everyone wakes up, and that wasn't the case. They just all slept until like after 8, and they just did their own lives. They made their own breakfast and they, ran around. I mean, it was nice weather. I have to say it was really nice weather. We were invited to this friend's like really, really, really old chateau that just has 10 bedrooms and so loads of space for everyone. And it's an amazing place. It's just incredibly beautiful. A lot of it is still, just in French you would say like in its jus. I don't know how you would
In its juice.
in its juice. But it's really cool. I mean, I guess it's not from like the 1900, like it was built in 18 something, but it's still like in an original state in a lot of the rooms, the decorations and the paintings, and it's just like, it's like a time travel, and so that was very, very, very nice, and really chill. Like I actually spent some time around the fireplace reading, and there was a lot of, I don't know, games, society games, and board games, and it was chill. But also, I mean, I have to say, it was chill for all the parents who have children above 5 or 6, or maybe even 5, 4. But the smaller ones, obviously, you have to have an eye out. So a reminder that there does not have to be another child in my life, not a younger one, only my friends' ones.
Fair enough. So you've like unlocked a new level of parenting, new life level unlock.
And because we talked about life hacks last week, I think this life hack is just apparently the more kids, the easier. Or maybe above 10 kids apparently gets easier, because that's what it was. It was
amazing. Well, it sounds beautiful.
Even some of the bigger kids look after the really small ones.
That's the dream. That's the dream. Where was it? What part of France was it in?
It was in really, really pretty part that from where I live is only an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's called Auvergne. It's Auvergne is the place where there's a lot of volcanoes and it's very green and it's just really pretty.
Fab. Fab, fab,
Recommend.
fab. Sounds like a great weekend. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today?
Today, I think we want to talk about social media. And I know this was my pitch, and the pitch was, does social media make us better humans?
Yes. I must admit, I did not understand the brief. So I was maybe in a bit of a negative headspace, I must admit, because I was kind of researching for the podcast and I was just looking at all the bad things around social media. That is not the point of the podcast today,
No,
is it? We're not looking at like
no,
how bad social media is for teens or anybody else. We're going to leave that to the
no. I
serious media.
Yes, let's leave that to the serious media and maybe also, all of the what kind of like really bad negative impacts it has on your social health. I think we all know that.
Yes.
I was more thinking about, the positive sides of it and like how we use it and maybe give some ideas of how to better use it.
Yeah. So we're going for personal takes rather than broad societal impacts,
Yeah.
which is maybe what all my notes were about. So I'm flying blind here.
We lead. So how much time do you think you spend today on social media?
Woo! So I try not to go on social media in the mornings, mainly because I don't have time.
Yeah.
I definitely went on social media both train journeys to and from work. So
Okay.
that's at least an hour in total. And then I definitely did some scrolling as I was putting my kids to bed. So I think maybe 2 hours, but I think I'm underestimating it, to be honest.
Okay.
It's a lot,
Um,
isn't it?
but like on your train journeys, would you say that's like your dedicated time for it?
Yeah, I suppose so. Although I do allow myself other dedicated moments during the day. So, so
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, not that that needs to be the only moments. I just meant,
Yeah.
I feel like if that's kind of like your thing, it's good, right? That's your routine or whatever. Or
Well,
is there like other stuff you would need doing at that moment and that you're not doing?
yeah, I think the reason that I'm struggling with it, especially at that moment, is I have a book in my bag that I just carry around,
Oh,
don't read. And so I would much rather be the person that reads that. So you were saying this to me before because I felt really ashamed about how I use social media. And you were like, don't be ashamed. You were saying that it's made to make you addicted to it.
yeah. No, because you said something. You were saying that you felt bad about it, right? Because you should be stronger and
Yeah.
get off it and that. And I just said to you, like, but that's exactly what the problem is that people will think I should be stronger. I'm not strong enough. But the thing is, that is exactly what they want. That is exactly what it's made for. It's exactly it. It is designed for you not to want to be off it. So it's kind of like, it's almost like, yeah, it's the machine that's, that we built that's stronger than us that's gonna, overtake us. I think only if this has an actual negative impact on your life should you make changes. Because if you're happy with that, and that's what I meant about your train journey. I mean, if you're happy on your train journey, but like, "No, I don't get a lot of social media time. And like, it's
Yeah.
probably compared to a lot of people, it's not that much being on it for an hour and a half a day, right?
Yeah.
And if that is like the thing that you need at that moment and that you're like happy with at that point, like why would you change it? I think it's more you should change your social media habits and that. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, if you have problems in your lives, start being a bit depressed because everything you see is like, people having nicer homes than you do, or I don't know, loads of time for the relationships and apparently a lot of childcare and so many, romantic moments or whatever that you might not have. I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm talking about myself.
No, that resonates. That really resonates.
But I just mean like I don't think there's need for a change if you're happy like that, right? I mean, for
Yeah.
example, for me, quite recently, I realized that I was, because I'm a freelancer, I'm like quite free in my days. So like the way I want to organize my days, I can be quite, I have a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there. I can go have lunch with a friend, and then, if something comes in or if I know something comes in, then I can block the whole day. But I can easily on the days where there's not much on, I could easily spend for hours and hours on social media. And I did realize that, an hour goes by so fast
Yeah.
when you're on social media. And I started just being so frustrated all the time, just like so much in my head being that like, you're so you're so useless, and like at the end of the day, like what actually have you done? And that I just thought, okay, well, I need to kind of get off it for a little bit, but I'm not as strict, let's say, one of our dearest friends who's off it. And then sometimes we have to like send her stuff or like tell her stuff that because she's not on Instagram anymore. I'm not, I'm not as strict with myself, but
Mm.
I have put Instagram to like the second or third swipe on my home screen so that I don't automatically always click on it. And I've realized that I've been using it less, but it hasn't really made such a big like difference on my productivity.
Oh, yeah, so you just do other stuff. You're just
I just like fill it with other shit. I go in a different platform. And also as a journalist and as a multimedia journalist, I feel like I'm a little bit disconnected from my actual job. So I'm trying to find a balance, which to be honest is a little bit difficult. Even preparing for this podcast, I've been looking at loads of posts that had nothing to do with the research I wanted to do.
well, that's a pretty picture. Let me look at this pretty picture video. No, but I think that's a really good point. I think if you're happy with how you're using it, if it's not realistically having a negative impact on your life, then that's okay. I think the reason that I spiraled a bit into all that research was
Mm,
because I do think maybe it takes away those moments of reflection, which are actually really important for
mm,
people to just kind of, process information, have creative
mm,
ideas. It just removes all of those, at least from my day on the
mhm.
toilet. Because let's be real, we all use our phones on the toilet. Come
Yeah.
on, like, come on. So those kind of moments, or I, I feel like I need to share that I do use it to fall asleep, which is, I wish it
Right.
wasn't that. At
Is it your
night, yeah.
dummy?
Oh, hard realization. Yeah, I mean, I don't wake up with like TikTok on, but
Mm,
I'll scroll until my eyes feel tired and then put the phone down. Whereas it would probably be better to
right.
make my eyes feel tired with a book rather than a phone.
Might be a bit quicker with a book probably because you're not as, stimulated as in like all of the
Yeah, yeah.
light and the but again, like, do you have trouble sleeping? Do you have
Nope.
I just feel like if that's your thing, it's no problem, is there?
Yeah, I do feel like my family have branded it as tiki-toki time as well. There's quite a few people in my family who do that, who will use it to go to sleep. And it was actually my cousin's boyfriend who said, "Yeah, I just have to have my tiki-toki time before I go to sleep."
It definitely sounds like a dummy,
Yeah, and when you describe it like that, it's kind of cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
So what is the kind of content that you like to consume?
I love um so I love looking at pretty stuff. We've discussed on the podcast. I love clothes, I love like interior design and that kind of stuff. I love just like
Mhm.
getting inspiration. So I save loads of stuff that I just sometimes look at, nice things.
You look back
Um
at the stuff that you've saved?
I do at the moment. I am like trying to redecorate my house, so I do look back through things. And I'm like, oh, that was the thing that I wanted to put with that. So that's
Okay.
good. And I love just like funny shit. We were saying before, our friend, she's just got the best reels that she sends through, and it's, some of them they just get me. It's so funny. It is a love language as well, just bombarding your friend with reels that
Oh,
they're gonna make
hard.
them laugh so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. We should do an evening where we, like, look back at the reels together and just,
Yeah.
laugh about it.
Yeah, yeah. When a creator just like hits the nail on the head with something,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
funny. It just
Yeah.
gets me. It's really good. What about you? What do you like to consume?
I quite like, so I'm a foodie. Love
Mm.
restaurants. I love recipes. A little bit of travel, although not too much because I can obviously not travel. I sometimes get into a bubble of family travel, like these nice
Yeah,
hotels in Austria
yeah,
that you
yeah,
look at the prices and you're like, "Yeah, but that's for millionaires, so no, I'll we not be going there." Again, something then it kinda, like, doesn't make me feel that great, and then I'll stay away from it, because that's not something I can pay for, so I will think that would be a great way, but sometimes it might inspire me to find that, but in cheaper.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so travel, food recipes, a lot of recipes and cooking, and
That's true, yeah, yeah.
I do cook the recipes. Like, I often, will send it to, like, specific friends that I know love cooking. We'll definitely send stuff to my mom. My mom definitely sends me stuff
Cute.
quite a lot. And, then we also update each other on the things that we have cooked from recipes that we have. And I quite often go back to my saved list, actually only the food one, I think, go back to it and look for a specific, recipe.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's actually, that is social media. You're interacting with content, you're sending it to people, you're sharing what you've done. It's like a positive
I
social
have
way
to
to
say
use
I'm
social
not
media.
great at sharing what I'm doing. I don't know why. I
Do you
just
mean
like
like
random.
posting?
Yeah, posting stuff. I'm this random person who, like, posts one thing into their story once a week. It's just it's hilarious. It doesn't make any sense.
No, there's no logic. There's no rhyme or reason to my posting. Sometimes I'll get
Yeah.
really into it and sometimes I just can't be bothered. So we've been talking a lot about Instagram on TikTok, but there's no one who can embarrass me more than myself at 18 years old on Facebook. If you read those statuses, you're just like, ugh, like it's so embarrassing.
You post loads of things back then.
Oh yeah, I've got to show you. I've got to show you at some point because it is the worst. Like it's so embarrassing. I just started
Oh.
university and I was posting statuses, like cryptic statuses for the girls that I lived with at university. It was the worst. No one can embarrass me like that person. So ashamed. Oh God.
Oh my god, amazing. Okay, yeah, I definitely want to read those.
Yes, we'll have a little scroll.
I was gonna say another thing that I really like and enjoy on Instagram is parenting advice.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I've gone down. I'm in a bubble, let's say. Maybe sometimes
You're
I
in
go
an
down a rabbit hole
echo chamber.
of, like, attachment-based parenting of, like,
Right.
good techniques. But I at least try and look for people who don't make it look easy.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know? So, for example, one of my, favorite, persons is the psychologist, American Dr. Becky. She has a
Oh yeah.
podcast, and for me, she just has so many, good at such good advice on situations that I live every single day. Her communication is really, really well done, obviously. She sometimes explains the situation that she's been in with her kids. I have used her techniques a couple of times, and I have to say it just resonates with me. It just feels right. It's not I don't have to be someone else to use her techniques.
Yeah.
And there's other people and other stuff I think about and things that that I've heard or seen months or years ago and that I'm still trying to do. So I reckon maybe when I thought about is social media making us better humans, I thought, at least in that respect, I really do think, and this is maybe quite huge, I do think that I've, like, become a better parent thanks to social media.
Thanks, Dr. Becky.
Not only her, I have other people in I remember other people. I remember, there's a French lady I like, who's called Céline Siritelis. I even bought her book. I do think, it can help you a lot, but again, and this is probably also, one of the things that I do a lot, then I can get into this thing where, I get stressed about it, when I haven't been great at parenting for a while or I don't feel great
Right.
and I haven't been my best self, I can start to feel a bit overwhelmed by all the stuff I know I should be doing, but am not doing.
Yeah.
So that was also one of the moments where I thought, okay, I think I need to get some distance and then maybe just use whatever the techniques were that I've learned and also just see what are my next challenges. Because once you've figured something out, I think we've said this many times before, once you've figured something out with kids, something new is going to come your way.
So I think two things from what you just said. The first thing I feel, and this is obviously our job is to be a journalist, so I suppose we immediately look at where the contents come from. So like the people you were referencing are people, they're doctors, they've written books, you can verify their qualifications. They've not just popped up on social media as kind of like experts. So I think that's really important. And I think, yeah, when the content is good and then the people who are making it have good credentials, that's like a really good kind of, yeah, good combo. Yeah, I do find parenting stuff good, but I also find it a bit and maybe this is the echo chamber that I'm in on social media. Sometimes there are posts where it's like, these are the 6 things you should never say to your child. And I'm like, shit, I said that all today.
Follow that account, really.
Yeah, well, that's it. I suppose you have to almost take responsibility of what content you're being served because in your feed, obviously, if
Yeah,
you go to the discovery page, it's like the Wild West. It's a
yeah,
mental there. And that's up to you if you go there or not. I
yeah,
personally find
yeah,
it too traumatic. But in your own feed, you almost need to spring clean, right? You need to kind of go through and be like, is this person's content resonating with me? If
yeah,
not, just unfollow them. You don't need to
yeah.
be receiving it. And I'm not saying that I do that all the time, but
Mm.
it's true. It's probably a good habit to be in to make sure that the stuff you're being fed is, I don't know, good for you and where
Yeah.
you want to be.
Yeah, 100%. I really think that's super important. Like, sometimes take the time to be like, "Oh, that actually does make me feel shit." I want to be on social media
Mm,
to discover things that make me feel good
mm,
or resonate with me because X amount of reasons. At some point, I remember getting so many face yoga and do this
mm.
stuff, and you have so many wrinkles on your forehead. This is what you should do. And I just like kept on seeing only wrinkles in the mirror. I was just like, oh my God, yes, face yoga. But then I never had the time. And then I always kept on thinking, oh, that's my own fault because, I'm not doing the face yoga.
Who has time to do face yoga? I don't have time to do normal yoga.
Can you do both at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it didn't feel good. I have to say it didn't feel good. And I'm glad I'm out of the face yoga bubble.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's important to unfollow stuff that you don't like.
for
Even if
sure.
it's someone you liked and then they go down a rabbit hole or they go down with some weird content, just be really strict and just be like, "Yeah, no.
Cut
No."
them out. Even just people who you actually know, if the way they're living their lives and presenting
Yeah,
themselves on social media, because you don't need me to tell you that that's not their real life. Their real life
exactly.
looks really different to that.
And I think luckily you and I have maybe luckily have that maturity and that age of just to know that it's not their real life. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends that make it look like their lives are just incredible. But
Mm,
in between the posts, there's normal life and there's sorrow and there's, mental health problems. And yeah, I mean, obviously not, no one shows their whole life on there. No one shows ups and downs and every single day.
for sure. It's curated. No one shows a day where you didn't really do much. Just yeah. Just
Although sometimes I want to know, what do people do when they don't do much?
yeah, that's so true. What else do you think people can do to kind of make sure their use of social media is healthy?
I think one of the things we said before was look specifically for people you're interested in. So
Mm,
look for, opinion leaders. Maybe what I do sometimes is when I've read an article about someone that I think is interesting, I'll look them up on social media. So, for example, leading up to this podcast, I listened to a radio show on how you can find out what are good and bad tips on social media for your relationship. So this
okay.
was more for romantic relationships, but it was true for a lot of them. And so, I looked up the psychologist who was invited to that show and actually found her content quite interesting. So then followed her, or for example, for the restaurants, I follow a media that has their own platform. They have their own website, and I often use them in other cities to like find a good restaurant. But then on social media, I'll look at who are they referring to in their posts or who are they following, and then I try to create my own bubble. I don't know if it works.
Self-curated bubble. I like it.
It feels like I'm taking control of my bubble.
Oh, you can tell you've had a little family bottle of beer there. Yeah.
Not again.
Busted. I think you're quite unique in that though, or there's not loads of people who would use it quite such a conscious way maybe, but I
Yeah.
think it's really good to use it in that way, and it's definitely inspired me to go and have a look at who I'm following and just do a little cull and get rid of the toxic ones. I think it's quite important to remember as well when you're following someone, giving them likes, even just staying on their videos. On social media, you are a commodity.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, the likes of Instagram, your view won't immediately equate to money for that person like it actually would on YouTube a lot for
Mhm.
creators.
Mhm.
Your view equals one centime, 1 penny, 1 cent going to that
Yeah.
creator. Whereas on YouTube, TikTok, it doesn't immediately go into their pocket, but it
Mm,
does mean they have a specific following. And
yeah.
if people have a specific following, they can sign certain brand deals. So,
Mm,
your follow and your interaction is worth something on social media. You've got to remember
yeah.
that I would
Mm.
say.
So it's all the more important to unfollow people you don't like because you're
Yeah.
giving them money. You're making them
Exactly,
even
yeah,
more money.
exactly, and, like, giving status to those people as well, if you go
Mm,
on someone's profile and they've got a
mm,
million followers, that gives somebody a lot
mm.
of status these days, so,
Yeah,
do
that's
you want
true.
to be in that million, or do you wanna take your follows elsewhere? It's important to
Yeah,
remember that that is valuable as well.
absolutely. So do you think it's making us better humans, social media?
I mean, I must admit, I spent a lot of the time on the train today deep diving into how social media is going to lead to our downfall. So it's difficult for me to say yes. Personally, I don't think it's making me a worse human. I don't know if you think it's making me a better one.
But
Um,
so is, I don't know, watching series on Netflix, right?
True. Probably not, no. I
Mm,
think all media depends how you use what you've learned, doesn't it?
mm,
And the information, the parenting advice or the self-improvement advice, you could probably consume that elsewhere, but it's just
mm,
social media is such a dominant part of our lives at the moment, and it's how we
yeah.
receive information. So I don't think it's making me a better person, but it's definitely how I get a lot of my information.
Yeah, that's already a big part of your life.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I think as I said, I think it has helped me in some difficult moments, aka parenting, but also to understand a couple of mental health issues. But I do feel like I then often just it gets too intense. The information then gets too intense.
Mm,
So I have to it's a lot of work to filter your sources.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
So maybe just saying it's made me a better human. It's helped me be a better parent, and it's definitely helped me laugh loads with my friends.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to look at stupid stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that summarizes it, I guess.
Okay, so it's not made us better humans, but it's okay. It can
Yeah.
stay. But we're gonna watch our usage of it. And I do think as kind of like 35-year-old women, our brains are very much formed, our,
Yeah.
our brain is formed so we can probably use social media a little bit more than
Yeah,
it
I think it's a
currently is.
whole different topic, right? For young children and when should
Yeah.
they start with social media and all of that. Let's talk about that another time.
Okay, I'm just gonna go and doom scroll a bit. Switch off.
TikTok time.
Good time. Night, everyone. See you next week.
Bye bye, lovely listeners. We'll hope to hear from you on social media. And otherwise, you'll hear from us.
That's true. She says Instagram is definitely fine. Don't block that.
Yeah.
See you there.
Follow them. Follow now.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye, bye.